Hello guys, welcome to Modern Web. Well, if you don't know who I am and if you are new to my channel, Modern Web makes tutorial on web development to master web dev skills. So if that excites you, make sure to subscribe the channel right now. In today's video, we will see how to make this e-commerce website. Basically, I have done a full stack e-com website past in this channel. You can find that in the description. This video series is the 2.0 version of that website. We will make this website a full stack, having lots of feature from ordering the item to adding it to the cart, everything. And this is the first part of it. So if you don't want to miss that all good stuff, make sure you subscribe the channel and like this video because it really motivates me. So let's see the demo first. In this video we will make four pages of our website. The first page will be the home page. This is our home page. It has a beautiful header section and a beautiful navbar with these amazing little icons, and you can see it is getting a white background whenever I scroll it down. So we will do it with the JavaScript. After that, we have this best selling product section, which will showcase our some best product categories, and it has a cool hover effect also. After that, we have these little sections telling about our business, and then we have this image collage section, which has three image as a collage, and they have a really great hover effect. We will achieve this with the help of JavaScript. After the image collage, we have a review in our home page. The review is looking nice and it has a user DP with the rating number and a circle stroke over the image. And after that, we also have this and little informative section telling about ordering now, and we have a simple footer. So this is our home page, which is really nice. After this, we make this website, this page, the search page. It has a navbar with black text and these beautiful product cards with awesome hover effect. And by the way, we will make it responsive in the upcoming videos, so don't worry about responsiveness. After that, we will make this third page, which is our product page. This product page has image on the left side and product detail on the right side, including this rating feature also. We have this buy now, add to cart button, and then we have this detailed description. Then we have this review section, which is the same as the home section. The design is same, and then we have this beautiful add a review button to easily add the review button. We have this awesome focus effect on the inputs, and we have these 5 stars to add the rating, and these actually work. We will achieve this with JavaScript, of course. And we have the same similar product recommendation as we have on the home page. So this is we will make in today's video. After this, we will make the last page, which is our 404 page. This page has a navbar with the white icons and a simple error message and a home page redirection. So we will make these website pages in today's video. So before we start, you can download the images from the description, and also leave a like if you like this video, and do subscribe. It really motivates me. By the way, you can download the source code from the description. So without wasting more time, let's start the video. One more thing, I'm going to make another series on full stack social media website, and I will upload the first part as soon as possible in this week. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure you stay tuned. Now let's start the video. Okay, so let's start with our folder structure. You can see I have a CSS folder in which we have style.css file. After that we have image folder. You can download it from the description. After that we have JavaScript folder which has home.js, and we have index.html. Okay, so now let's code the index page. So start by basic HTML template, give it a title, and after that link style.css file. Okay, I'm going to use Google Fonts here. So open Google Fonts and search for two fonts. One is Cinzel and the second one is Lato. I'm going to use regular font size font family. So copy this link and paste it above the style.css file. Now we can make the elements. So let's start by making header section. Make a header element, give it a class header section, and inside it make a simple h1 tag with a class header heading, and you can type anything you like. I'm typing premium quality and I'm putting the premium inside a span because I want it of different color. So if I see the output, I can see the heading here. Now let's style the page. So first use star selector to select all the elements and remove margin and padding from it. It's a good practice to do. After that, select the body element and set its font family to Cinzel. By default, we want every element's font family to Cinzel. Now select the header section here and set its width to 100% and height to 100 VH because we want it to cover the whole screen, and set its background image to header.png. You can download the image by the way from the description, and set background size to cover to make it cover the background. Okay, use display flags and set justify content to center to make the element or content in the center. Also give align item center to make it vertically in center. Great. Now let's style the header heading. So select the header heading, and the first thing, give font size, give it 100 pixels, and then give text transform capitalized to make the first letter uppercase, and set its color to white. Now select header heading span element and set its color to this value. Good. Now let's make the nav bar. Make a nav element above this header section and give it a class nav bar. Inside it make a UL element and give it a class links container. This will contain all our links. So inside UL make li element or list element, give it a class link item. Since we want a link, make anchor element inside it and give it a class link, and then you can give the content. You can see we got the links. Now let's style the navbar. Copy the navbar class and paste it here. Set its width to 100% and give its height to 60 pixels or 80 pixels, sorry. Set its position to fixed so it will stay on top, and set its top to 0 and left to 0. So it is on top now. Use display flex to align the links in the center. Set justify content center to make it in the center horizontally, and set z index to 9 so it will be above all the elements, and use transition to add a little smoothness to it. Now select the UL element, which is links container, and give it display to flex so it will make the links side by side, and set align item center to make the links vertically center, and set its list style none to hide the black dots. Now just select the link item element, which is our li element, and set its margin from left and right and top and bottom from everywhere to create some spacing. And then select the link finally and set its font size to 20 pixels, let's say. Set its color to white, this is important. Set text decoration to none to remove the underline, and if we see the side, it's looking pretty good. Add some padding to it, let's say 10 pixels, and set the opacity of links to 0.7. Also use transition to make the smoothness because we will add a hover effect to it. Now give it an extra class active, which will use to define the active link. Select the active link here and the hover state of the link using hover selector, and inside it set the opacity back to 1. Okay, so our navbar is pretty much done. We just need to create the user interaction section. So after UL element, make a div, give it a class user interaction. Inside it, make another div and give it a class cart. This will hold our cart image and the cart count. Inside it, make an image element, give it a source cart.png. Also give it a class cart icon so we can style it in the CSS, and use a span element to create the item count or cart item count. After this, make another div and give it a class user. Inside it, make an image element and give it the user icon. This will be our login user icon. So we got the images. Now let's style them. Select the user interaction here. Set its display to flex to make the images side by side, and set its position to absolute, and set its right to 5 VW so it will be 5 VW from the right and top 50% to make it perfectly in the center. Great. Now select the cart icon, cart or user div, and set its width to 30 pixels and height to 30 pixels because we don't want it to more than that. Set its position relative, this is important, and set its margin to whatever you like, let's say 10 pixels. For hand pointer, set cursor to pointer. Great. Now select the item count element, which is cart item count. Set its font family to Lato sans serif and give it a color this. Give it some padding also, and change its font size to 15 pixels, and give a border radius of 50%, so it will be a perfect circle, and set its background to this color, and set its position to absolute. Give it bottom to minus 12 pixels and left to minus 20 pixels. You can experiment these values. You can see we got the nice item count. Now select the cart image and the user image and set its width to 100% and height to 100% to make sure it will cover 100% of its parent. Use object fit cover to make it proportional. Now you can see our images are smaller now. So we are done with our navbar and it's looking nice. Now let's make the other section, which is best selling product section. Make a section element and give it a class best selling product section. Inside it, make an h1 element. This will be our title, so give it a class section title, and let's say best selling products. Okay, we got the text. You can make comments in the style.css files to track the styles for future use. Copy the class and paste it here. Set its position to relative and give some padding to it. Okay, great. Now let's style the h1 element, which is section title, and use text transform uppercase or capitalize to make the letter uppercase. Set its font size to 30 pixels and set its margin bottom to 30 pixels. After the h1 element, make a div which will be the container of our product cards. So make a div and give it a class product container. Inside it, make a div and give it a class product card. This will be our product card. So if this is our product card, make an image element, give it a source of product 1.png and give it a class of product image. Also make a p element, give it a class product name, and of course this will be the name of our product or a category. Once you are done with product card, make three more copy of it and change the product image source. Also change the product name. Okay, so we got the product images and the name. Now let's style them and make the section beautiful. Select the product container and give it a display of flex to make the card side by side, of course. And set as justify content to space between to make space between the cards. So we got the cards side by side. Now select the individual cards like product card element and set its border to 15 pixels solid and give it a give it this color and set its width to 300 pixels and height of to 300 pixels because we want a perfect square, and set its overflow hidden because we don't want any overflow. Now you can see they are looking beautiful. Set their position to relative because we will have a absolute element inside them. Set its background to, let's say, this color, but use nth child selector to select the even elements and set their border color and background to this color, which is our dark brown color. So you can see our even number of childs are getting the dark brown color. Now select the product image and set its width and height to 100% and use object fit property to make the image in the proportion. Now the image are covering the full card, and at last select the product name, set its position to absolute because we want it over the image, and set its color to white. Use text transform capitalize to make the first letter uppercase, and set its font family to letter because we want it more readable. We can't see it because it is below the image element, so set its font size to, let's say, 25 pixels, and give it a bottom 20 pixels, so it will be 20 pixels away from the bottom. Set its left to 50% to make it perfectly in the center. Perfect. Now just set its opacity to 0 to hide the name, and give it a transition to create a smooth effect because we will add the hover effect. Now select the product card and add a hover effect to it using hover selector, and then select the product name. Inside it, set its opacity back to 1. Now you can see our card is looking awesome. Add another hover effect to the card, which is when we hover it, set product image opacity to 0.5 so it will be less opaque. Great. Add some transition to it, of course. Now it's looking great. So I guess we are done with the best selling section also. Now let's make the mid section. I really don't know what to call it, so I'm just calling it mid section. So make a section element and give it a class, of course, mid section. Inside it, make a div and give it a class section item container. This div will hold all the content of it. The first content will be the image. This image element will behave as a background image for it. After that, make a div and give it a class section info, and this will be a info section which will be the on the right side. Inside it, make an h1 element, give it a class title, and give the title whatever you like. I'm giving this. I am putting affordable into span element. Once you are done with the title, make a p element and give it a class info. This will be a little bit info about the title, explaining the title. Let make it little shorter. Let's say lorem 15 words. We don't want it to be a lot. Okay, so we got the image, we got the title, and we got the para. Now let's style them and make this website beautiful. So select the mid section in the style.css file. Set its width to 100% and set its height to a fixed value, let's say 800 pixels. Give it some padding, and note we are giving same 5 VW padding from left and right in all the elements. Now select the section item container, which will be the container of our all the content. Set its width and height to 100% and set its position to relative. Also give it a padding of 20 pixels. Great. Now select the section BG, which will be the image. Set its width and height to 100% and of course use object fit property to make it perfectly in proportion. Set its position to absolute to make it absolute item, and set its z index to -1 so it will be below our content. Of course, add the section bg class to it. Good. Set its top to 0 and left to 0, so it will not be like 20 pixels away from top and left. Now select the section info. Set its width to 50% and set its height to 100%. Give it a white background color and set display block. If we set its display block, we can easily use margin left auto to make it perfectly on the right. So make sure you give display block. Add some padding to it also and use text align center to make the text in the center, of course. Now select the title element and give it font size to 60 pixels or a large text basically. Give it some line height. Okay, it's looking great. Now select the span element of the title and give it a different color. Good. The last thing we have is info. So select it, set its font family to Lato and sans serif. Set its font size to 25 pixels to make it little bigger and use line height property to make space between the lines. Give some margin top to it also and set its opacity to 0.5. It will make a good contrast. So basically we are done with the mid section also. Our site is looking very great actually. Now let's move on to our other site section, which is, I guess, image collage section. For that, make a section element and give it a class image mid section. Basically I didn't found any more sensible class name. Inside it, make a div element and give it a class image collage. Let's style this section now. So select it inside the style.css file. Set its width to 100% and also give it a fixed height of 400 pixels or 600 pixels actually. Give it a padding 50 pixels from top and bottom and 5 VW from left and right. So we got the section. Now select the image collage div and set its width to 100% and height to 100% and set its background image. Set its background image to BG1. Use background size cover to cover the whole div. Good. Now inside this image collage div, make another div and give it a class image collage collection. Inside it, make three image elements and give them a class collage image. Change the image source, of course. You can see we got the three different images. Now let's style them. So copy this image collection class name here and paste it inside style.css file. Set its position to relative and set display to block to make it perfectly in center. If we give display block, we can easily use margin auto. Set its width to 50% and height to 100% with the white background. You can see we got the div. We just need to make it in the center. For that, give margin auto. This is a CSS trick to make a block item in the center. Now select the collage image and give it a transition 0 0.5 seconds. Now again select the collage image, but this time select the first collage image, use n selector for it, and set its position to absolute. Or actually, the position absolute will be common for all the collage image, so I guess we can move these two properties in above code. So code those properties there, and inside this nth child set the width and height to 350 pixels. Set its top to 20 pixels and left to 20 pixels to make it 20 pixels away from top and 40 pixels away from left. So we got the image, you can see that is below. Now select the second image using L selector. Set its width to 250 pixels, let's say, and height to, of course, 250 pixels, and change its top and left value this time also. Okay, so we just have to style our the last image. So do the same for it also. Select the last image using the n child, and here set its width, height, top, left, right property, and place this as you like. Good. So I guess we are done with this also. Let's add a simple hover effect to this collage image. Set its transform translate y to negative 10 pixels, so it will, when we hover over the card, it will make it go up. We will add the blur effect at the last, so don't worry about it. We will do that with the JavaScript. So we are done with this for now. Let's make the review section now. Add a comment if you like, and after that make a section element, give it a class review section. I guess this is the more sensible class name. Make a h1 element, give it a class section title, and write here, let's say, what our customers says about us. Well, it's totally depend upon you. In future videos we will see how we will add the review with the backend, but for now we are just creating the front end, so you don't need to worry about it. So let's style the review section now. Copy the review section, paste it here, and of course give it some padding from top, and select the section title here. By the way, select section title span element and set its color to this yellowish color. Now after the h1 element, make a div, give it a class, let's say review container. This will contain the review cards. Make a div and give it a class review card. This will be our card of our review. Inside it, make another div and give it a class user dp. Also add this custom attribute data rating, and for now give it value 4.9. So we will use data rating to make the after pseudo element by JS, by CSS, not JS. Inside it, make image element and give the user image. After this div element, make h2 and give it a class review title. This will be a title of our review. You can give anything as you like. After that, two element, make a p element and give it a class review. This will be the main review. For now I'm just giving it a dummy text, of course. So we got the product actually review card. So copy this three more times to make four review cards and change the user image, of course, and change the review title if you want. You can see we got the four review cards with different headlines and different image. Now let's style those cards. So copy this review container and paste it inside style.css file and set it some margin, let's say 50 pixels from all over the sides, and set its margin bottom to 0. We don't need or want any margin from bottom. Use display flags to, of course, make the card side by side, and set justify content space between to make space between the cards. Now select the review card element and set its width to 250 pixels and set its height to auto, because we don't really know what will be the height. Set its font family to Lato sans serifs. Okay, now the font family is looking great. Now select the user DP individually. Here give its width 200 pixel and height 200 pixels. Also give its position to relative along with border radius 50%. Now select the image element of the user DP, set its width and height to 100% and set object fit cover to, of course, maintain its proportions. Isn't it looking nice? Okay. Now select the user DP and create its before pseudo element to create a circle inside the image. For that, set its content property to nothing, a single empty string. Set its position to absolute and give its top to 10 pixels. Same, set its left, right, bottom, all three sides to 10 pixels. So it will be 10 pixels away from all the sides. Okay, now give it a border. Give it a 4 pixel solid border with a white color and set its border radius to 50% to make it a perfect circle. Now you can see it is great. So we made the before element. We need a after element, of course, for the rating count. So create a after pseudo element and in the content use attribute function to select this custom data rating attribute. So in CSS attribute attr attribute function will give you the value of the HTML attribute. Now set its position to absolute because we want it over the image, and set its bottom to 0 and right to negative 20 pixels. Give it some padding. You can see 4.9 over the image. Set its border radius to, let's say, 20 pixels to make round edges, and give it a dark brown background color. Or actually we need a yellow color. We had the yellow color in the design, so give it that. Now select the review title finally and set its font size to 20 pixels and give it a line height of 25 pixels. Give it 30 pixels margin from top and bottom, and also set its text transform to capitalize to make the first letter uppercase. Now select the review and set its opacity to 0.7, and I guess we are done with the review section. Isn't our review section is looking great? Yeah. So now let's move on to the last section of our page, which is end section. Make a section and give it a class end section because yes, I don't know what to call it. I'm very bad at deciding class names. Copy these elements from mid section and paste it inside here because all the contents are same. Change the background image so you are seeing all the content are same. Copy this end section and paste it inside the CSS file because we want some padding, so add some padding here. And select the end section in item container element and set its height to 800 pixel, so it will be a little more bigger in height. Good. Now what we have to do, we have to select the end section, what it's called, section info element. This is our white container, so set its margin to 0 so it will be placed in the left side because we want it on the left side. The mid section was on the right side, the end section will be on the left side. You can change this content of the title. I'm setting it to order now simply. Yeah, it's good, it's looking good, but order now it's looking little smaller, so select the section, select the end section title element and give it a bigger font size, let's say 100 pixels, and use line height property to make a large amount of space between the lines. Now they are more comfortable and looking great. So I guess we are done with the end section also. So great work. We are almost done with our home page. We just need to make the footer, which is like a very easy to create. Make a footer element and give a simple line inside it or whatever you like. Set footer's font family to Latos sans serif to make it very readable and simple. Set its color to yellowish color and set its background to dark brown color. Set its width to 100% of course and set its height to let's say 50 pixels. Use line height, set it to 50 pixels to make the text perfectly align in the vertically center and use text align center to make the text in the center. Great. Also add text transform capitalize to of course make the first letter uppercase. Also if you like increase the font size. So yes, we are done with the home page. The only thing is our navbar is not looking good because it has a white color text. So for that we will use JavaScript. So add home.js file inside index.html file and let's write some JS code. Inside here first we will do some navbar related things. So select the navbar element using document.query selector method. Inside query selector you have to give the element class name or id or just the tag name. In this case we are using the class name which is navbar. Now add a scroll event to window using add event listener and inside it for just now console log the scroll y just return the y amount of scroll of y amount. So if we open up our console and if we scroll the page we should see some numbers. You can see these numbers are scroll amount which we these number are what amount we have scrolled. So choose a desired number here, let's say 170 I guess 170 will be fine. So add a if condition here. Say if scroll y is greater or equals to 270. Sorry, it's 270. If it is greater than 270, set navbar classlist dot add. So basically I'm adding bg class to navbar, and if it is not greater than 270, I'm removing its bg class. What does this bg class? This bg class will basically change the color of the text and its background color. So now let's make that style here. Make navbar.bg, and inside it just simply set its background to white. You can see our navbar is of white color now. The same, we will change the link color also. So select the navbar with bg class, and after that select the link element and set its color to black. Now you can see our links are doing great. Set its opacity to 0.5, and yeah, it's great. But you can see I'm not able to get the hover effect. For that I have to add hover effect separately. So add this using comma separator, and we should see our hover effects now. And yes, we are getting our hover effect and active class. So yeah, now you can remove the bg from here, and if we scroll down to 270, we should see our number. Yeah, it's great, but I guess we need a less amount. Let's make it 200, and I think we need less than 200 now. So let's just say 180, and I hope it will be, yeah, it's great. 180 is fine. So our navbar is also done. We have made it. Don't worry, we will make it responsive in the upcoming video, so there is no issue. Now just we have to add this cards a blur effect, so let's add it. Select the collage image here using query selector all method. Use this square bracket and three dots to destructure the node element into array. Basically query selector all method returns nodes array, which we need to convert it to a simple array. After we select the collage image, use map to loop through each images and select the individual item there, and add a mouse over event listener to it using add event listener. So mouse over is just like when the mouse is over the item. So when the mouse is over the item, again use map function to loop through all the collage images, and inside it check whether the hovered image index is not equals to I or not. So if it is equals to I, we don't want to make it blur, but if it is not equals to the index of our hovered card, set its filter to blur, and set the hovered item z index to 1, or actually a higher value, which is 2, not 1, 2. So you can see the card is on the top, but the cards are still blur because we also need to add a mouse leave event to it. So add a mouse leave event, and inside this just simply remove the style of each collage images using collage image.map to loop through all the images, and select the image and then remove the style of it by setting its style simply to null. This just part is little hard, but not that hard. If you stuck anywhere and if you have any doubt, feel free to ask me in the comments. I'll be glad to help you. So we are also done with this hover effect and it is looking very pretty. So let's see our home page at last time, which is of course looking amazing. So now let's make the search page. As we are done with it, make a search.html page, and for the styles make search.css file inside CSS folder. So let's go search page, give it a title online store, let's say, and link the search.css file. Also open index.html file and copy these links from here and paste it also inside the search page. We will use the style.css file as a common file for our whole website. Copy this navbar element and paste it here. Since we have no image in the background, add bg class to navbar. You can see our navbar is pretty good now. Also copy this best selling product section. We will modify this section to make it a search result. Change the class name to, let's say, search listing, and change the title, of course. Change it to search result or sofa, for example. Change the image source and change the product name class to product price, because we will have price here, not the name. Add the price whatever you like. Delete these cards and just make 8 more copies of these cards, and quickly change the image source of all these cards. If we see the output, you can see we got the cards, but they are side by side and not looking so good. So let's style them. Select the search listing element here. Give it a width 100% and set its height to auto because we don't know its fixed height. Give some margin top. Set margin top to 60 pixels because our navbar has a height 60 pixels, and give padding. Okay, but our cards are still not looking so good. So let's style the cards. Select product container and set its flex wrap to wrap, so it will wrap all the divs. So now they are coming below each other. So now it's looking little bit good but not so much. So let's style the product card now. Select the product card element and give it a fixed width, let's say 30%. Give some margin to it to make the space between all the cards, and set its border to 10 pixels solid and give a light gray color. We want this color for all the divs, not a odd or even div, so add important keyword here. Now all the cards have light gray border, so now it's looking good. We don't need to change the hover effect. Now select product price element. Set its position to absolute because we want it over the image. Set its font family to Lato sans serif and use top 50% left 50% to make the text perfectly in the center. Set its color to white and set text transform to capitalize, and you can see the text or price in the center. We just need to make it bigger, so give it a font size of, let's say, 50 pixels. Great. Now set its opacity to 0 because we don't want it to show, and give a transition for smooth effect. And now add a hover effect to card, and when we hover the card, select the product price and set its opacity back to 1. Our search page is done now. We have a great cards and we have great navbar. Now let's move on to 404 page. For that, make 404.html file, and inside CSS file make 404.css file for these styles. And now let's code the HTML page. Write the HTML template and give it a title. And link the 404.css file here. After linking the 404 CSS file, open index.html file and copy these links. As I already mentioned, we will use these styles as a common styles. So paste it here and copy the navbar also and paste it here. We don't need the bg class here because we will have the background image in the 404 page, so we don't really need a bg class. You can see we got the navbar, but so after navbar, make a header element. This will be our 404 header section. Give it a class, let's say 404 section, and inside it make another div and give it a class content. This will hold our content, 404 content. Inside it make an h1 element, give it a class error. This will just show a big error or a headline. After this h1 tag, make a p element, give it a class whatever you like, let's say subline. This line will be for redirecting user to home page. Because we want a link to our home page, make an anchor tag or element here, and inside it let's write home page to complete the sentence. You can see the content. Now let's style the 404 section header. Select it inside 404.css file, give it a width 100% and set its height to 100 vh because we want to cover the whole screen, and set its background image to 404 bg, which is of course inside our image folder. Set its background size to cover so it will not repeat, and then use display flex and justify content center to make the content in the center. You can see our heading and subline are in center now. Give a color property and set the color to white, and now select the error element, set it text align to center and give it a big font size, let's say 70 pixels, and set its margin bottom to 30 pixels because we want some spacing from bottom. Great. Now we just have to style our subline element. To select the subline element and give it a font size, let's say 25 pixels, set its text align to center and set its font family to Lato sans serif because we don't want it to be Cinzel, we want it to be more readable. Great. Add text transform capitalized to make the first letter uppercase. And we also need to select the subline anchor element to give it a color white. So give it a color white. And we are done with our home page also. Great work. Before we move on to our product page, change these icons because they are not so visible. We also have these icons in a white version, so add those in the navbar. And now if we refresh the page, yeah, now they are quite visible. So great work. Now let's move on to product page. For that, make product.html. This will be our product page. and make a JS file also, product.js. This will be for JavaScript, and CSS file, product.css. Now you can close all the files. Start by simple HTML structure, give it a title, let's say online store product page. And of course, this page will be the dynamic page. We will make it dynamic in the next part. Link the product.css file and copy these links from index.html file and paste these links here. Great. Copy the navbar also and paste it here. Since we are not going to use a background image, add class here and copy this best selling section and paste it here. Remember, you should not change the class name here because this class name we wanted. Just change the title here. Do not change the class name. And now copy this review section and paste this review section before the similar product recommendation. So this will be our product review, and after that we will have similar product recommendation. Copy this footer also and paste this footer at the last, and also add the product.js file at the very last. Great. Now let's make the product detail section. If we see the output, you can see we got the navbar. After that we have this review section, and then we have a similar product recommendation, and at last we have the footer. So up until here we are good. Now let's make the product detail section. Make it between the review section and the navbar. Make a section and give it a class product detail. Inside it, make image element. Give it a source product image. This will be our image of product, and give it a class also. Let's say product image. After this, make a div. Give it a class product detail, and inside it we will have all the details related to our product. So first we will have the product title. For that, make h1 element and give it a class product title, and give the product name. You can see we got the product image and the product title or a name. After that, we should have a short description. For that, make a p element and give product description, and write a dummy text if you want. Good. After that, we will have the review system or a star rating. For that, make a div and give it a class rating. This will contain our all 5 stars. Make image element and set its source to fill star. Give it a class star. Make it 5 time, so we will have 5 classes, and change the last star source. Perfect. Also, after all this image, make a span element and give it a class rating count. This element will be our rating number or rating count. So we got the stars, we got the rating count, we got the name. So what left? Yeah, exactly, the price and the button. For price, make a p element, give it a class price, and set the price whatever you like. After that, make a div and set its class to btn container. This container will hold our 2 buttons, buy button and cut button. Make a button element and give it a class product btn. This product btn class will be common class, and give it a specific class buy button, and change this buy button to cart button. So we have 2 buttons, one for buy now and one for add to cart button. So we got all the elements here. Now let's style all the elements one by one. So select the product detail, and inside product.css file, set its width to 100%. Give margin top to 120 pixels and give 5 VW padding from left and right. Okay, something I messed up. Give display flex. Yeah, I messed up somewhere. Let's see where I messed up. Okay, my section and div class both have the same class. So change the product detail to product section now and change the class name to section. Now it's okay. Use gap property to make gap between the elements. Let's say 40 pixels. So you can see I got the 40 pixel gap. Now select the product image and set its width to 70% and set its height to fixed like a 600 pixel. Use object fit cover to make the image in proportions. Perfect. And also we have to change the content of review section. So change the content of review section, change the title to review instead of what our client says. Say it review. Great. Select product title element. Set its font size to 60 pixels. We want it to be a bigger text. And select the product description element. Set its margin to 30 pixels from top and bottom, and we don't want any margin from left and right. Set its font family to Lato sans serif and set its opacity to 0.5. Great. Now we just have to make it little bigger. So use font size for that and set its font size to 20 pixels. Use line height to make some space between the lines, and it's looking great. Now select the rating element and use display flex to make the stars and the span side by side. You can see my span are in the side. Select the individual stars and set its width to 30 pixels and a height to 30 pixels to make it little smaller. Great. Now select the rating count element and set its font family to Lato sans serif. Also make it little smaller text and set its opacity to 0.4. Use line height and set the line height to 40 pixels to make it in the center and give it a margin of left. Our rating count is looking nice. Now select the product price element, which is price class name, and set its font size to 60 pixels to make it bigger. Give it a margin from top and bottom, and good. Select the product BTN now and give it some padding from top, left, right, bottom, all the four sides. Remove its border by setting border none. Also remove it outline and set its color to white. Give it some margin right. Set its font size to 20 pixels. Set cursor to pointer for the hand icon and set text transform to capitalize. Now select the buy button individually and set its background color to this color. Also select the card BTN individually and set its background color to this. I guess we are done with our product details section. Are we? So let's make the detailed description section, which will be below the product detail section. So make a section element here between the review section and the product detail element. Make a section element and give it a class detailed description. Inside it, make an h1 element, give it a class section title, and let's say details, and use the p element, give it a class description, and inside it write a long paragraph for our detailed description content. Use br tag to break the line inside this para. It's a really long text. You can see we got the text. Let's add one more br tag to it. For that, first let me wrap this. Okay, I have added one br tag more, and yeah, it's good now. Now let's select the detailed description. Set its width to 100% and give it a padding 100 pixels from top, with 5 VW from left and right, and 0 from bottom. Good. Also, copy this review section class and paste this also here, because we want the same styles for that section also. Now select the description element, give it a font family Lato, and use line height to make space between the lines, and set its font size to 20 pixels. Set its opacity to 0.5 so it will make a good contrast. Good. So we are done with our detailed description also. Now we just have to make our add review form. So make a section between review section and our similar product recommendation, and give it a class add review section, I guess. Great. Inside it, make h1 element, give it a class section title. This will be the title of our section. Say add a review. You can see we got the add a review text. Copy this add review section class and add that also here. Good. After the h1 element, make input, set its type to text because we don't want any passwords or email like that. Give it a class review headline. This will be our review headline, and give it a placeholder also. After that, make a text area and set its placeholder to review. Also give it a class. After the text area, make a p element. This will be the heading for our star rating. And after this, we just need the 5 stars. So for that, make a div element, give it a class star container, and inside it we need 5 image, which we already created in product detail section. So you can copy from there and paste it here. Just make sure you change the image source from fill star to no fill star, and also change the class name from star to rating star, because we don't want the styles to collide with each other. And after the rating, make a button, give it a class add review button. This will be our button for add a review. So this is the elements for a add review section. Now let's style them one by one. So first select the review input and review headline, add a dot here, set the width to 100%, set its height to 40 pixels, and give it a border of 2 pixels solid with a dark gray color. Give it some margin from top and bottom to make space, and give it some padding also. Use line height to make the text perfectly in the center, and set its font family to Lato sans serif. Set its color to black. So we got our inputs are great. Remove the outline by simple outline none. Now you can see I'm not getting the green border. Select the placeholder using placeholder selector and set its color to black or the dark gray actually. Set text transform capitalized to make the first letter uppercase. Now select the review field individually and set its height to 160 pixels. Why? Because we have a 40 pixels height for one line. We just want 4 lines. For that 160 pixels, and set resize none, so user will not be able to resize it, and remove the padding from top and bottom. After this, select the review headline when we focus it, and also select the review field when we focus it using focus selector. And when we focus those elements, set their border color to this color. Great. Copy this thing and paste below. And when we focus these play elements, we want their placeholder to change their color. So for that, add a placeholder selector. Our inputs are done. Select the rating text now, which is the heading for our rating. Set its font family to Lato sans serif, and set its color to light dark gray color, not light, dark gray. Set its text transform to uppercase, and give it some margin from top and bottom. Good. Now select the rating star and set its width to 30 pixels and height to 30 pixels, and set cursor pointer to make the hand pointer. And the last, select the add review button. Remove its border by border none and outline none. So we really don't need any border, any outline. Set its background color to this. Add some padding from top, bottom, left, right, from all the 4 sides. Set its color to white and set its font family to Lato sans serif. Also add text transform capitalize along with font size 16 pixels. Give it some margin top and set its cursor to pointer. We are done with our add review section also. So we are done with our product page also. We have the detail section, we have the review section, we have add a review form, we have similar products, we have everything. Now we just have to make the star clickable so we can give a rating. For that, go inside product.js and select the star images here using document.query selector all. Inside it, give rating star class name because this is the class name of all the image element here. Select the rating star input and use map method to loop through each rating star element. Inside this, select the star. Actually, rename this item variable to star. And now let's select the individual star and add event listener to it. you can see I'm getting error here because I have not added the square brackets here. So if I add the square brackets now, if I type event listener, it's not giving any error. Add a click event to it, and inside this make a for loop. And actually we are using I for this for loop, so change this I to index. And here make condition is I less than 5 because we have only 5 images, and increment the I. Inside this write a condition to check whether our index is greater or equals to the current I of the for loop. And inside it, if our I is less than our index, change the rating input source to fill star. And if it is greater than the index which is clicked, set its source to no fill. So if I click on fourth star, I get the 4-star fill. So it's working now. Great. Now we are technically done with our product page. We will make it dynamic in the next upcoming parts. We will do all backend thing there. So that was our today's video. If you enjoyed the video, if you liked the video, make sure you give a thumbs up to it and do subscribe. It really motivates me. And comment down what is the best part you like. If you stuck anywhere and found anything difficult to understand or have any doubt, feel free to ask me in the comments, and you can also ask me via my mail. I'll be glad to answer you. And yeah, you can download the source code from description. Thanks for watching.